All right, wanted to make a video of the training project homework for day 2. So I'm going to follow the list of instructions here. So just to make it easy in case that helps you. So enter the config user. Obviously I've opened render for the training project. The default password is the top row of dots from left to right. Now enter setup. On the right side, you see the role settings. Change from 1 community check to 2.
Wait a minute. Before you make changes to the role settings, it's very important for me to show you something that is required before you can make those changes. Here we are at the very first screen in Render. Click on the 3 dots and you'll notice that this button is indicating approved sets are hidden. Before making any changes to the role settings, please change this switch so that approved sets are loaded. This way, the changes to the role settings will affect the approved sets as well. This is very important because there is a bug in the Render software at this point. If you make a change to role settings in config, with the approved sets hidden, it will break those sets. So please always make sure to change this switch to approved sets loaded before making any changes to the config role settings. Thank you.
Uncheck the Note Translate and Transcribe features. The Note Translate is valuable when your translation teams don't share a language with the consultant and you need someone to translate between their language, whatever they might use, say Indonesian, and the consultant, as specified down here is English. All right, and transcribe again is transcription of the back translation. We're just going to turn that off for our purposes of training. Notice here, though, that that consultant language has to be specified. So make sure you get this right when you're training a configure person to set up his project. Make sure you set this correctly. All right, with that, we can hit, let me hide this, finished. All right, exit the setup role and enter the user role. Here you go. Study and understand each user. So if you click a user, you'll see its definition over here on the right. The name at the top, primary reference is listed, interface language, the roles they're assigned, and the device to which they are assigned. All right, so that's what it means by understand. So look at the two. Team 1 and Team 2 have the same role assignments, same everything except the name. Back translate, his roles are the breath pause and retell back translate. We're going to ignore scribe and note translate, and then the consultant. Just he's got the consultant role and so forth. All right, so with that, step 7, delete them all. Notice configure you cannot delete. So we'll do the others. Delete, 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 delete. All right. Step 8, add. Oops, let's get rid of the back translator. Let's add them back in. All right, so for exegete, and on a typical project, there's 2 of them. So you'd say exegete 1 and 2. Interface language, let's just keep it English for now. You could choose something else if you prefer among that list. But just to help us move along here, those are my choices. So the exegete, we're going to give him the observe role. With the observe role, he can see the status of all the sets. And he can actually access the audio of all the reference audio Bibles for each set, plus any drafts that the translation team has made, plus any notes that have been made by the team or the reviewing team or the consultant. So I'm going to hit submit and all right. So it says that it requires a password. Can you figure out the code for the top row of dots? So Render is showing me the grid of 12 options, and the top row is here at the top. What's the code for that? That's correct. 00, 01, 02, 03. That's the top row, and you can make it anything you want, but I like the default for purposes like this. All right, so we have our exegete. Now let's add T1. We can call it anything we want. Translate team 1, but just for speed, I'm going to call it T1. English, this device, or the same one, and NIV. All right, so the translate teams get all the translation activity roles: translate, peer review, community check setup, community check 1, and community check 2. Notice that you have to choose both of those. If you've chosen more than one community check, you have to specify both of them or all three of them as a role. So with that, I'm going to hit submit, and let's add T2. Same choices. And the same roles, just like we saw earlier, and submit. All right, now let's add the BT, back translator. So we'll shorten that to BT. English, this device, NIV. All right, so we're going to give him the back translates. So let's start with breath pause. Oh, look at this. It's saying, all right, translate from, all right, what language is this project translating into? All right, the answer is French. That's just the way it was designed. And so you'll choose the project's language here, whatever the target language is for which this project was made, and then translating into hopefully the consultant's language. That's what you want to put here. We can do a double back translation, but I won't mess with that here. So this should match the consultant's language. Same thing for retail. Whatever the target language is to the consultant's language. All right, and so the back translator is defined. And finally, consultant. All right, give him consultant check, but let's also give him observe. That gives him the power, again, to see the status of all the sets, wherever they might be, and to have access to all the audio connected with a set. If I hit submit, ta-da, I'm asked for a password. So these are the two roles that require passwords, consultant and observe. So we'll give the same one, 00, 01, 02, 03. Ta-da! All right, we have all our users.